Cosmo babies. This week we are talking about hair nerd life and the all-important hair venture. I'm your host, Annie MacArthur, and I have my co-host with me this week, Erin Gray.
I mean, I think that the hair venture is really where hair nerds started, right? Like,
Truly.
it's kind of how we started this whole life of like, pack a bag. Like there were definitely some times that I would leave work and I'd have a suitcase in my car and go straight to the airport. And Tuesday morning, I was back on a plane at 5 a.m. and went straight to work. I mean, that really was our life for a very long time, going
Absolutely.
to hair shows and competitions and education. Hair Nerds started at a competition.
Yeah.
Like we were at a competition and we were having such a good time and, you know, a lot of champagne and thought we were really funny. And we were like, I think the whole world would be so interested in what we have to say right now. Maybe not the whole world, but a couple of folks did turn out to be interested, and we built a whole life and career around it, you know?
Absolutely.
And what was your first, and I remember, but tell us about your very first hair venture.
Absolutely. So for any of you who are new listeners to Dear Cosmo Babies, the Hair Nerds is an alternative media site that is owned by Erin and myself. So it's the alternative media portion of our HairVentures brand identity. Oh my God, what was my first hair venture?
It was ISSC with
That's right.
Haircut.
All right, that's right. I'm like, this is how many hair ventures I've been on. I can't even remember.
Where am I?
There's so many. But I do have to say, like, I truly love a hair venture, which is why I have been on a mass amount of them, because they make my heart like go pitter patter, you know? So my first ever hair venture was while I was actually still in cosmetology school. I worked my little hiney off and saved up enough money while I was in school to go on a school trip to ISSE, which was no longer a thing now, but it was the International Salon and Spa Expo that happened in Long Beach, California, one of the biggest shows on the West Coast at the time. And it was the most magical experience of my life, like hands down. Like, I don't know if anything will ever top your first hair venture. So do be picky with what you choose, because it could be life-changing. And it absolutely was for me. We went down as, like I said, it was a school trip. We went down together as, you know, a big group of people. And I got to meet some of my like hair heroes who have turned into mentors, who are still a part of my life today. One of which is my other co-host, Russell Mays. We met for the first time at ISSE in Long Beach when I was a student. And it's actually really cute because Russell tells me this story every once in a while, and it always just like, it just makes me so happy. But we were told as students to like make ourselves some business cards, because Instagram was not a thing. Like, social was not a thing. It was a thing, but it was not utilized in the sense that it was now. So like we were told, make little business cards for yourself, you know, bring things, use this as an opportunity to network and to get to know people, to take classes, to go to the events, to the shows, be inspired. And Russell, he still has my business card from beauty school that he hangs on to.
Such a good friend.
I know. And it's like, you know, I feel like, yes, my story is somewhat unique because of like the journey that I've personally taken in the industry. But there are people from that very first hair show that I 100% still talk to on a very regular basis, almost on a day-to-day basis. Some of them, like, they have become my best friends, my mentors. They have absolutely changed my life. And it was, I don't know, it was just beyond incredible. It was such a good experience for me to do that, because of my why in the industry was not to work behind the chair. My why was to do something else that did not require me to have to work on clients in a salon. I wanted to be a part of professional beauty, but in a larger aspect. And I think that first hair show showed me that the reason I chose to go back to cosmetology school as an older student, I was 26 at the time, was 100% valid, and that I could make it work and that I didn't have to do what we consider a traditional path in pro beauty.
So some things that I think made that trip work and worthwhile, and I say this because I put that trip together, are that I organized the trip.
Yes.
One, everybody flew together. So if you are wanting to go to, let's say a hair show, you want to do a hair show for a trip with you and a couple of hair nerd besties, even if it's not your whole school, even if it's just you and maybe 3 other students who are like, okay, let's do this. And they're excited like you are, go together. So either get cheap flights together or carpool together. Like traveling together is such a huge part of the whole hair venture life, right? So get there together, do it old school style. Like we flew Southwest frequently, but we have been known to sit on a Spirit flight. And while it is not fun, we still talk about it. Like these are memories, trauma memories, but memories nonetheless. So travel together, get a hotel room together, do 4 deep. Everybody's sharing the same bathroom and getting ready. It sounds crazy, but that is where you make those memories. Like it's all about pizza at 3 a.m., because you just came back from the after party, stay together. Then really have a good plan. And that's something that I talked to you guys all about before you went on trips, was like, okay, look through the brochures. What education are you going to take? What stage shows do you want to go to? Who do you want to stalk? And I would tell them, like, make a list, like, who do you want to meet on this trip? And Annie did. And she met those people and has intimate working relationships with every single one of them now. And you were also really open to being introduced to people and things. And you said yes to a lot of opportunities. So when I was presented with the opportunity to bring some students to, a hotel room haircut and have Hairbrained film it at the time and, do this like really cool thing, you were like, yep, me right here. I'm here. I'm ready, and you didn't get so drunk at the after party that you couldn't go to classes the next day. I think that that's where people make a huge mistake. Is have fun, but like, have 30-year-old fun, right?
Have responsible fun.
Pretend like you're an old lady like me, and you're like, okay, like maybe you've got a kid to take to school the next morning, It's like have fun, but do it in a way that you can still function the next day, and you're not one of those messy girls walking back into the hotel at 10 a.m. in the outfit from last night. And we were all concerned and thought about calling the police. Like, just
absolutely,
keep it classy. But yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest thing was really just being together, being with those friends, so that you are making those memories and you're kind of dividing and conquering. I think that it's easier to feel comfortable and confident when you've got, you got your hair besties with you. Like, it's okay. It feels okay to approach someone. We've had some of the wildest conversations of our life at hair shows after the day ended. Some of the most embarrassing conversations, definitely. I got cornered by Tabitha Coffee, and Annie and I had just gone to DSW, and I had this like brilliant idea of like breaking in a new like sassy pair of shoes at the show, which was not my most brilliant. We ran to DSW, and we got these like very comfortable Dr. Scholl's wedges.
They were very cute, though, by the way.
They were cute.
Adorable.
They were cute. I will give it to Dr. Scholl's. Thank you. But then Tabitha was like, oh, what did you get? And out comes my box of like Nana heels. And
I feel like you're missing a part of this story, though, because my favorite part of this story is when Tabitha walks over, and yes, she does ask, oh, what did you girls get? But her hand went right into the bag to open it up to take a look inside, and that is my favorite part.
I wasn't offering it up. I was gonna be like, oh, got some cool new Doc Martens, and I'm gonna go to my room now. No, she was like, yeah, what the hell, Tabitha? Yeah, she was very like in it to win it, all in the mix, wanting to know what was going on. And
but I love that. Like, I love that about her.
Yeah,
Like, it was
I
so
still want to
sweet
crawl into
and,
a
like,
rock a little
cute.
bit sometimes. But it is a really fun memory with her, and she is definitely known for being like very stern and hardcore, and so to like talk Nana heels, with her at the Hyatt bar after an event was really kind of disarming, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's definitely like a sweet memory that I hold. For sure. One of my favorites, absolutely. I also love once you start going to hair shows and events and, something that we like to call HairVentures, you really start to get to know like the same people. You get to see your friends. Like, these people become your friends because you're at the same shows together. You're attending the same events. You're becoming a part of the same groups. And when that happens, it opens you up for so much fun. Because another favorite thing of mine is we would sit in the lobbies of either the hotels or the convention center, and we start like hooting and hollering at people. Like, ooh, I see so-and-so coming in the door. Like, and we start like yelling at them, kind of like hollering at them from across the rooms. And it really
I think catcalling is the appropriate term.
Yes.
Yeah.
And but it disarms people because they're not expecting it. And so it's really fun. You get a laugh, you get a couple looks once they realize who it is that's yelling at them from across the room.
Yeah, only harass your friends. Yeah.
Yeah, only do it to your friends. It's that fun way that like it disarms someone really quickly, and then once they realize who it is, they start laughing, you have a conversation. Like, totally. Those for me are the really fun moments of hair shows. Like, is the education key? Yes. Like, at a hair show, should you be taking the education? Please do. Like, please do. Yeah. Like, get your money's worth out of these events and stuff, because
go be inspired.
Go be inspired. Go learn some things. Go take advantage of the opportunities presented in front of you on a level of education and opportunity, but then go ahead and have fun with your friends as well, because these really are they're beautiful moments that could really happen at hair shows, which is why I think that they're such an important part of hair nerd life in general.
I think part of the thing that was so hard for you, Annie, during COVID was one that you love the travel part of our job.
Absolutely.
But that's really where we see our friends. Like, that's like our social circle is not in the towns that we live in. It's like in the hotels and the convention centers that we go to. You know, that's like, those are our people. Those are our friends, like we would see Russell anytime we go to LA, like we see Russell, or, anytime you're in New York, like, and I think like it really was kind of debilitating at that point, when all travel stopped, because it was like, oh my God, where are people? And even the one of us who doesn't love to travel as much, like I'm definitely more of a homebody than Annie is. I channel my inner old lady super, super hard sometimes. But even I was like, God, like, I just feel like if I could go to like a class or a show or like literally like I was online at like 4 a.m. when Sassoon was launching new, like collections, because I needed our people.
Absolutely.
And it was really hard. And once you start traveling and exploring that other part of the industry, it's really difficult to stop.
It is addicting. Like, I don't know any other way to put it, but when you start to involve yourself in a deeper level of professional beauty, it is addicting. It is so hard to stop once you start. It's like a tattoo. They say if you get your first tattoo, like, all of a sudden you're going to have a whole bunch of them. And it's like, oh my God, that first hair show, I was hooked 100%. And it is difficult when I don't get to do those things, and I don't get to travel, and I don't get to see our friends and talk to other people and just kind of have that shop talk, like, even though currently I work in a salon, it is so different. It's such a different experience.
It is. Well, and so you started stateside, and we did a couple of international things, and then you got to go on your first big hair venture to Japan.
Yeah.
You've done that couple of times. And I think that
Yep.
that one was really so cool because it showed you not just a different area, but a completely kind of different way of learning,
Oh,
because
absolutely.
Japan really, like, their cosmetology program is so different from ours and it's so much more intense.
Hmm.
And I think that that was really cool and like re-inspiring for you.
Oh, absolutely. The type of person that I love to continue educating myself. I love continuing to
Mhm.
learn about other things, other people, other ways of doing things, other way things are just done in general. Like there is never a point where you know enough, for me at least.
Mhm.
And going to Japan and seeing how incredibly different the industry is in somewhere like that, where the discipline is so much more than it is in the US. The cosmetology schools itself are a lot longer. They're 2-year programs. They're and it's not like in the US where it's like, oh, well, some states have 1,600 hours, some states have 1,000, depending on all of that. Like in Japan,
Mhm.
it is 2 years just in school.
Mhm.
And then on top of that, you go into an assistant program for, I believe, if I remember correctly, it's 3 to 5 years. And you are not
Yeah.
touching clients during that time. Like you are working on models that you are supposed to bring in, you're working on doll heads, but you're not working on paying clients. And I think like when we tell people that in the US, especially, it's like, no way. Like
Mhm.
I wouldn't do that. Like, but that is how respected the industry is. That is how, and I'm not saying that we don't respect the industry. We absolutely do. It's just such a different type of respect. It comes from a different viewpoint. And I find it fascinating.
Well, it just opens your eyes to, these other people in our industry who we have this connection with. I mean, we're connected by beauty, right? But everybody has such a unique experience. And I think that the travel opens you up to other cultures. It opens you up to really expanding your mind,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that travel is important for people just in general. And I'm not a Pinterest girl who's like, not all who wander are lost. Like that is not me at all. But even as like homebody, like don't leave my 3 mile circle as I am, there is 100% a place for travel, both domestic and international, for everybody. For everybody. If you are a hairdresser, it is a part of your personality. Like it is definitely a part of who you are, and it will make a difference in your life.
Absolutely. I just thought of another really fun story from a very early
Yeah.
on hair venture that another story
But we
that is
keep those
near
to a
and dear to
minimum.
my heart. This one has to be shared though. So there was one
Oh
time.
no.
So while I'm telling this story though, I'm going to give y'all a couple of tips. So like Erin has already said, travel with your friends. It's not only cheaper, but it's way more fun and cost effective, obviously. But we were loaded into a car. There were 3 of us, I think. Um, we rented a car just so we didn't have to put the
Uh-huh.
miles on our own. Yes.
Oh
This is the Las Vegas Millhouse story. We loaded into the car. So everybody had
no.
gotten off of work that night. We all went home. We packed our bags. We got ready. We got in the car probably 9:30
It
at
was
night.
late. Yeah, it was
It
late.
was very late. Where we lived at the time was 10 hours away from Las Vegas, and we chose to drive overnight. So we get in the car. We just start zooming down the freeway. We're having a really great time. It's a car full of besties, like on their way to a hair show, and we're having a great time. And the girls I was with, Erin is included in this story, who was driving in the beginning, but she got tired,
I
so
did
she
drive.
had me
There,
drive.
I did do driving.
Yes, you did. So we switch. So Erin and I switch, and I start driving. She falls asleep. The other girl that was with us
Very
also fell
tired.
asleep.
I'm an old lady. Mhm.
And please keep in mind, all of us worked a full day, like a full day that day. Um, so everybody in the car is asleep except for me, and I am somewhere past Bakersfield, headed on the straight road from Vegas. And if you have never driven from
There's
Bakersfield
nothing
to Las Vegas, nothing. There's nothing on. It's literally a straight line for about 4 to 5 hours of
of
just
darkness.
going straight.
No street light, no sign,
So
no exit.
so that was wild. But we're I made it through. I pushed through on a lot of energy drinks. We get to this little town that's right outside of Vegas. We realize that we are going to show up just in time for the show. And we're going to Naha. And Naha at the time was in Las Vegas. It was an all-day event. So it was slightly different than the way that it runs now.
Well, we were going to Beacon. We were going to Beacon and Cosmo North America.
Yes. And so it was all day. And then Naha. Thank you.
But we were gross. We were gross.
Yes, because we had been driving in the car all night after working all day the day before. Right. So we get to the gas station and we realized that like we were going to make it to the event just in time. And we were all in travel clothes, so we needed to change into our like nice outfits for the show. Our stuff is
casual.
Completely wrinkled. Like they were stuffed in bags from the night before. We were all wearing dresses and heels. So we were like in this gas station bathroom with other people in it, by the way. Like other people were coming in and out at this time.
It was hopping.
And Erin, who was in this dress, like all of our dresses were wrinkled. Erin's like, I got a flat iron. Heats it up in the gas station bathroom and starts flat ironing her dress to iron it. And it was just like, oh my gosh, we're doing our hair, we're brushing our teeth. Like it was insanity.
Also,
but it was
that was my $1 million idea because now on Amazon you see these
exactly.
Like, no. I've been getting that for years now.
But like be open-minded to doing things like that.
Getting dressed in a gas station.
Like it is not always going to be perfect. You are not always going to be able to take a flight in the night before, get a good night's sleep. Like sometimes you got to make it work. This is a make it work moment, you know, like, and so so it's like, be crafty, be open to those things. Like, don't feel like it's going to be perfect all the time. Like sometimes you just gotta roll with it. And so after, using the hair flat iron to flat iron our dresses and grab a coffee from the gas station and get back in the car and head to Las Vegas, and we show up and, went all day.
A whole day. And it was like Beacon in the morning, show in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. We did Naha, and then there was a dinner after, and then an after party. Like it was literally, sometimes I'm just like, I don't even know how you managed, because I was dying and I had a few hours of sleep in the car, and I was just like, oh my God. It was really wild. Try to manage things better than that. But I think, the point that you make of like, there's so many like little ways to like get it done. Yep. Be open to that. Be open to sleeping on somebody's sofa, in the town that you want to go take a class at. Oh my God. Yeah. If you have no other tips, take snacks with you, because
snacks.
Annie and I, when we're traveling together, like you see it on our face. Like it's immediately like, I'm angry. Then I'm just going to lay on the floor and I'm going to kick and scream until a turkey miraculously appears in front of me.
And food is expensive when traveling. So it's like these are travel tips we're giving you right now. Like, go with your friends, save the money. The reason we drove through the night is, one, we had to work, but two, we wanted to go to the show, but we didn't have to pay for an extra night at a hotel. Because that sometimes is not an option. And early in our career, we were going to so many shows. It was slim pickings. Like, we stayed at the budget motels and we stuffed 5 people in a room when we had to. There was always granola bars and snacks in our purses. Yep. We got ready in
gas station bathrooms. We still pay for 100 everywhere we go. We 100% pay for.
Yep.
So if we're at a show, like, we paid for it. Funny story. One time, a girl that was traveling with us, she checked her bag and had like brand new boxes of like granola bars and like snack bars and stuff. We opened her bag up, and her box of granola bars had been opened, and like half of them were gone.
Oh my gosh.
Like, she's like, I guess TSA got hungry. Like, so, take extras because you might also be feeding the government. Yes. I was like, damn. That's wild. So
that is wild. This doesn't go along with our Naha story, which is like maybe more funny to me than it is to other people, but I found it absolutely hilarious. But some other great travel tips, especially to meet new hair nerd besties, is with social media today. I cannot tell you how many times a social media friend I met for the first time in person showing up to sleep on their couch. right now I'm going to say thank you to everyone in New York City who has let me sleep on their couch, because there have been many of you and I appreciate every single one of you. Because hotel rooms are expensive, and like make the hair nerd friends that you are making in your careers right now, even this early on, I guarantee you're making friends online. Utilize those friendships, and not in a way that you're using somebody, but like utilize that to meet them in person for the first time. I guarantee people don't.
Well, how many people have stayed? I mean, how many people have stayed on our sofas or in our guest bedrooms? You know, like a million. So it goes both ways. And I think what you're really saying is that, you know, by opening yourself up to these trips, you're also opening yourself up to new people, you know, like that's where you're going to meet those people. And yeah, you might not feel comfortable like rolling in and being like, hi, new best friend, I'm living with you now. But meet them for coffee at a show, or like, hey, do you want to like go to the after party with me?
Yeah.
Or hey, I'll meet you at the whatever booth. Like, I'm going to take this class. Like, you know, just people that you're engaging with, and hairdressers that maybe they just go to another school in a town close to you, or maybe they're on the other side of the state, or kind of whatever. There are so many ways to meet new people.
And this advice that we're giving on travel right now, like some of these little money saving travel hacks, they don't just apply to hair shows and what we consider hair ventures. If you are interested in taking education in a city you don't live in, and you know people, at least people online, reach out to them. Because if you are in a situation where you're like, I have enough money to take this class, but I don't have enough money to maybe like travel there or get myself a hotel for as long as the class is or something, like utilize those connections to help elevate your education. I have had so many friends sleep on my couches to take hands-on education in the cities that I've lived in. I absolutely let that happen because I want my friends to be educated and to succeed. And so of course I'm going to help facilitate that in whatever possible way I can. And there are other people out there that absolutely want the same for people in our industry.
Absolutely. I think what we're really saying is do it, book the trip, go to the show, meet the people. We have a million resources and different articles and things that we can link that have a ton of tips on how to actually afford this kind of travel. We got really, really good at that over the years because, like I said, like this is like we're just like you. Like we're just a couple of girls, you know, buying tickets and booking hotel rooms just like you. And we have definitely learned not how to game the system, but how to get our money's worth. Yeah.
And our DMs are open. Like, like you can slide in, like make sure that you follow the Hair Nerds on social media. You can slide into the Hair Nerds account. Make sure that you're following Scissor and Moth Social on Instagram and all socials. Slide into our account there. Like you can leave a comment on the podcast.
To DM. It's easier to DM us on Scissor and Moth Social just because of the extreme number of DMs that we get on the Hair Nerds. If you have DM'd us on the Hair Nerds and you have not gotten a response back, you might you could be in a spam folder, like you could be anywhere. You could be anywhere on the internet right now. Because we are really good about responding. So if you need some immediate access, Scissor and Moth Social is 100% the place to do it. Absolutely. It's less cluttered right now.
Definitely. Yeah. And Erin, why are we talking about HairVentures so much? Not only do we love HairVentures, we are just
organizing them.
Yes, absolutely. You may, like, if you have been following us for a little while now and have listened to a couple of our podcasts and follow us on social, you may see that we actually launched a hair venture to Japan, which is taking off in April. By the time this podcast is available, that Japan trip is already closed, unfortunately, but we have good news for you. We did just launch our trip to London, and it is open and available to sign up. The Hair Nerds are going to London. Scissor and Moth Social will be coming with the education with some of our Hair Nerd besties. We are going to hair shows. We are going to an award show. We are taking hands-on education. This is the Hair Nerd trip of a lifetime. And so absolutely sign up for that.
Ultimate Hair Nerd trip.
It really is.
You know, I think it really encompasses each pillar that is so important to the Hair Nerd brand. We're doing it. And we have a ton of fun stuff. We have a ton of touristy type stuff that, but also things that matter to hairdressers, like it
Absolutely.
really does. It's like if like you go on a family vacation and you've got to do stuff that everybody wants to do,
Mhm.
you go on a hair nerd trip and it's just 100% stuff that we enjoy doing. Right. So
Absolutely.
think of it as like self-care. I'm going to call it moderately priced self-care. And we've made it really accessible. And that's the thing that I'm most proud of about these trips is that these are not money-making trips by any means. These are 100% just we have the ability to get people into some pretty exclusive things
Mhm.
and really show some really awesome stuff. And so, like we have these trips and you can pay them out. It's like a layaway
Absolutely.
for education. You write it off your
Interest free.
taxes.
Yep. We
Interest
have
free and no
interest free
credit
payment
check.
plans. Yep.
It's like, it's super, if you want to do it, you can do it. And that's what I love about it because Annie, when you were a student
Mhm.
and you were coming in every week, like Annie was paying for school on her own.
Yep.
And so when she wanted to go to a show, it was her working extra shifts and coming in and so she'd get her little paycheck and she would come in and she'd be like, okay, here's $100 towards my trip.
Yep.
Okay, here's 150 towards my trip. And she was, you could see it. She wanted it so bad and she made it happen. And so we really wanted to be able to extend that to everybody, because you know what? Not everybody has perfect credit. Not everybody has, a mom and a dad who are like, well, honey, just let me write a check,
Mhm.
and so we've created something where if you're willing to work hard and make it happen, you can make it happen. Like
Absolutely.
you can make it happen. You can do this, and we will walk you through every step and hold your hand and help you get your passport and really take you through the entire thing. So I don't know.
Definitely.
It's definitely one of the things I'm most proud of. This
Same.
last 6 months, something that we've been able to do just
Yes.
to bring people along with us.
Yep. We love HairVentures so much. We had to create them for other people. Are these available to students? Yes. Are these available to licensed professionals? Absolutely. Are these the education available? Is it for any level? 100%. Anyone who is within Pro Beauty can come on these trips with us, student or professional, and we are really excited about that.
And a lot of times schools will give you hours for these trips. And I'm happy to talk to, any school owner or school student services person and talk to people about, what hours might look like. There are ways to do this even if you are in school, 100%.
Well, thank you, Erin, for joining me this week. I am always so excited to talk about HairVentures and traveling and ways that you can save money so you can actually do it. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. We want to thank you so much for listening to another episode this week. Make sure that you subscribe, like, comment, share to your friends. You can find us on Apple iTunes, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.